Ah, yes. Julius Malema, the attention whore in chief, and the EFF, the fascists of South African politics. Not satisfied with threatening the school children in Brackenfell and, of course, the parents and the community of that part of the world, he's now threatening police officers and, more dangerously, their families. Watch this.
South African police want a fight, they must declare it. We will treat them the same way we treated them in the 80s. We will not only fight them at the picket lines, we will go to their homes and fight them in their own houses with their own families. We are not scared of police. They think this uniform gives them some superior power. We will see you after you take off the uniform at night at home. We will come for you one by one at your own comfort zone. We will teach you that no one can defeat the power of the masses. Not a policeman, not a police state, not a military state, not a dictatorship. Once the masses have taken a decision, no one will defeat them.
Molo Sambonani, hello, how's it? Welcome to another vlog 62 of the Big Daddy Liberty Show. This time not coming to you from my vehicle, but yeah, a very serious vlog, because once again we're faced with the spectre of South Africa's fascist movement, the red in tooth and claw commies that are the EFF, now not being satisfied with threatening school kids and ordinary communities across the country, but have now transitioned to threatening not only the institutions that make up the South African democracy, to which the South African police force is one key institution, but not only threatening the institutions of it, but the actual individuals within it that make up that key institution, namely the police. The EFF have never been a pro-democracy and pro-institutions of democracy type organization. It's always been the fig leaf that they've used. You can always tell with the EFF that it is the appearance of the EFF versus the reality of the EFF. The appearance, of course, is, they're peaceful protesters, they believe in democracy, they believe in the institutions. I mean, look at their work in parliament. And then you get the usual claptrap from the individuals who like making excuses for the EFF, pockets of the media, pockets of the intelligentsia in this country, the public intellectuals who talk crap on your radio stations, on other media channels, of course, sort of opining away about how brilliant for democracy the EFF are. Yet that appearance, when you then juxtapose it with the reality of who the EFF is and are worlds apart. The EFF don't care about institutions. They don't care about democracy, really. The EFF care mostly about force and violence. Can they achieve what they want to achieve through force and violence, while at the same time feigning the language of being all about democracy and people's choice, etc., etc. That is the dichotomy between the EFF, the forked tongue of a snake that the EFF are, and what they really represent to this country. Let me put it to you this way, in a very simple way. The EFF only care about the institutions of democracy where they benefit from them. So insofar as the institutions of democracy like parliament, the constitution, the executive and pockets, of course, of the executive, they only care enough about those institutions insofar as they benefit them and their political elites within that party. For everybody else, it is the mission of the EFF to destroy the institutions of democracy for everybody else except them. That is why you can have something like Brackenfell happen, where they'll say, hey, we have a right, they'll say, as they do, we have a right to peacefully protest, they'll tell us. They'll cry victim, they'll cry absolute victim when that right is disrupted by someone else. They'll cry victim when their rights are being infringed upon. But when they are infringing on other people's rights, no, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. You saw that in Brackenfell, where they gathered, they were told a certain number of them can gather, but they don't believe in those rules. When it comes to them, the rules should never apply to them. Only the benefits of the institutions, only the benefits of the rules should apply to them, but not the actual following of the rules insofar as when they want to get their own way. To hell with the rules, to hell with the safety of other people, to hell with the rights of other people, to hell with the freedoms of other people. That's the EFF for you. So don't be surprised when you hear the attention whore in chief, Julius Malema, pontificating and threatening effectively not only the institution of the police in this country, but actual individuals and their families. Don't be surprised when you hear that. That's who you, dear EFF voter, are voting for. So don't come and suddenly hide on social media, as a lot of you are now, because I'm not seeing y'all. Y'all are usually slick with the comments, huh? Slick with the comments, with your forked tongues, defending your politicians, even when we are telling you that the people you're defending have no interest in you and your rights, nor your freedoms. The people you're defending are the actual fascists in South African society, the people who want to create a society of them as the winners and everybody else being the losers, denying you your freedoms, denying you your rights, denying you your liberty. Where are you now? You're quiet. You're very quiet. As your leader, the attention whore in chief, Julius Malema, threatens South African families. And why is he threatening them, by the way? Simply because the police in this country actually upheld law and order and prevented him and his goons and thugs from terrorizing communities out in Brackenfell. That's the reason why he's not threatening ordinary South Africans. As I end this video, let me give you a quick reality check, a dose of reality. As to the claim that your leader makes that he represents the masses, Julius Malema does not represent the masses. Julius Malema is not even, his party doesn't even get more than 15% of the votes in this country. How is that vaguely the masses? So let's put that aside, this idea that somehow he represents the will of the masses, condescending as that notion already is. But let's put it aside by saying he doesn't. What he does represent is a small cabal in this country, who seek to acquire power and retain power through the means of violence, intimidation, and effectively the stripping of rights and liberties of South Africans. That's who you support if you're an EFF member. So don't come cry and bitch and moan, especially on my timeline or on my Facebook page. Oh, you just don't care about the EFF because you're anti-black and blah, blah, blah. Another little point I need to burst your bubble about. The EFF is not pro-black. The EFF is not pro-black. It is pro-communism and it is pro-socialism. That's what the fudge you guys are. You're not pro-black. So please, don't come out here and start pretending as if somehow you're blacker than the rest of us as South Africans, of those of us who are black. Please, spare us. Spare us of hypocrisy, because it begs the question, if you're so pro-black, as you like to claim, how are you going to allow your leader to threaten what is mostly black South Africans who make up the police force in this country? Oh, does being pro-black suddenly not matter in that instance? Again, I'm only playing by your rules in terms of the race obsession. I couldn't give a flying fudge if you're pro-black or pro-white or pro-colored or pro-Indian. South Africans are pro-South Africans, and one thing we're realizing about Julius Malema is that he is not pro-South Africans, neither is he pro-black if you want to view it through the racial lens. He really isn't. That guy is pro-socialism and pro-communism, and like every other socialist despot in history's gone by, he will want to acquire power and retain power through the use of force and violence. That's who you're supporting if you support the EFFs. So don't come and bitch and moan and suddenly get angry at us for telling you the truth about what you are supporting. That's on you, not us. But one thing is for sure, and I will say this, if it's controversial, let it be controversial. If you are a South African police officer, Metro police officer, whatever the case may be, and you've just heard the leader of the third largest political party, incite violence towards you, you are given firearms by the state. Protect your lives, protect the work that you do, and uphold the law. Uphold the law. Now, y'all know me. I've had my own little tiffs with the police, especially when they're enforcing bad laws. But I've never been one to threaten people's families. And it should shock you and disgust you that your favorite politician is out here threatening families, and you see nothing wrong with that. For shame. Shame on you. There is now an urgent need by law enforcement in this country to wake the F up and start prosecuting Julius Malema. Not because you don't like him. That's not the reason why you want to prosecute someone. And that's not the reason why I'm asking for him to be prosecuted. You want to prosecute Julius Malema because at stake is the actual preservation of a democracy and the rule of law. The idea that actually everybody, regardless of who they are, is equal before the law. And if the laws of this country oppose and outlaw, incitement to violence, and effectively the rallying of a mob that threatens the institutions of government, as in the institutions of government that are actually legitimate, which in this particular instance, police for me is a legitimate role of the state. The upholding of the rule of law and enforcing law enforcement, or rather enforcing the law, is a legitimate role of the state. If you have a politician, a wannabe despot, then threaten that and suddenly suggest that he's going to go after police officers, and not only police officers, but also their families, then by goodness, let there actually be charges brought against this guy and actual convictions, prosecution and a conviction brought against them. Julius Malema has no place in a democracy if he wants to be the sort of person who wants to use coercion and violence against citizens of this country. That's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think about that. But yeah, again, there really should be no space for anybody who incites violence like Julius Malema does. It's where I see it. Let me know how you see it. Drop me a comment. Like this video, share the video. Let me know what you think. And if you're an EFF member, I really look forward to hearing from you, because I'd like to see now what sort of mental gymnastics you'll do to try and defend your attention whore in chief of a leader. So come at me. Let's see what you guys have to say this time. Because again, at this point in time, you really are the bottom of the barrel of South Africans at this moment. If you're an EFF supporter and you willfully ignore the trash that your leader is, you willfully ignore the incitement to violence and all that nonsense, then you really are the bottom of the barrel of who we are as South Africans, and for shame. You should actually feel shame. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. The mental gymnastics you guys often do to defend this guy. So guys, thanks for watching. That's vlog 62. I'll see you guys on the next one. And remember, as always, never trust a commie.